Well, we're back for another edition of Te Akau TV with Te Akau trainer, Mark Walker. Mark, what a week it's been, mate. 9 winners and you notched your 1,000th win for your career in New Zealand. How was that?
Yeah, no, good, Hazy. It was really good and good for the whole team here, Matamata, and of course at the farm. Everyone's been flat out with the sales and then post the sales. So, no, good to keep things rolling. That's for sure.
Now, can you remember your first winner in New Zealand?
Yeah, I can actually. It was a horse called Galaxy Lover, and he won at Te Rapa. It was actually a maiden hurdle.
Wow. There you go. A bit of trivia there for your Thursday afternoon. And Mark, I guess if you keep these numbers up season to season, you'll be notching up 2,000 wins in no time as well. So congratulations on the week that's been. A quick look at those horses that have taken place and won races in the last week. So Puzzle Solved and I Choose You won at Te Rapa on Friday. At New Plymouth on Saturday, you won the stakes race there with Family Ties for a good group of owners. And then the Hidden Run mission at Wingatui, that came off there on Saturday with Perfect Scenario in the White Robe Lodge race there. Tauranga on Sunday, it was good to see Brando come back to form and win a race. He came from well back in the field. And then over to Monday again, Grayson Gray has been unlucky in her last few starts, so good to see her win before Taupo on Tuesday. 2 there for Cambridge Stud with Marvellous and Zurian clinching your 1,000th winner. And of course, Insatiable won there towards the back end of the card. So lots of winners and probably too many to talk through the individual performances today, Mark, but I'm sure you're pleased with how the team's going.
Yeah, as I say, that everyone's been working so hard and it's good to be getting those results. Good that we got a couple of good tracks lately, but gee, it looks as though we're in for more rain next week.
Yeah, the big cyclone is bearing down on us again, so hopefully that diverts the course and we've at least got a good weekend of racing heading into Legends Day this week. But before we get there, we're going to kick off there at Hastings on Friday in race 2, the AHD Production Animal Supplier Handicap, rating 75 benchmark. 2 horses line up. Zaitaku, the last start winner, and Mohawk Brave there as well.
Yeah, Zaitaku last start winner, so his confidence levels will be high. He'll go on with it. And Mohawk Brave will just tinkered with a few things, and I think he'll be one for longer odds. He should run well.
Great. And race 4 there, the Paul Nelson, Karina McDougall Racing Open, rating 88 handicap. We've got another 3 lining up here, led by On the Bubbles, drawn barrier 3 with Opie Bosson on board.
Yeah, it'll be a good track, so we just need to get a good line on him, and if he doesn't fire up, we'll send him for a decent spell and just let him have time out into next season. But you can't fault his work anyways. It's been first class.
And Chella there, some good early season form. It's kind of tapered off a little bit there towards his last couple of starts.
Yeah, we think we've got his feet right again, but he's up to open handicap level now. It's a shame Taupo the other day got washed out. He was in a really winnable race. And Zoluminous, look for her when she gets over further.
Cool. And down to race 8, the Wairau Racing Club at Hastings, 19th of February, handicap, rating 75 benchmark. Amalfi Prince drawn quite wide there in barrier 15. Will he take his place?
Yeah, we'll run him because we would like to run him in the listed Kaimai Stakes at Matamata. He's just had an interrupted season with wet tracks and what have you, so we'll just have to watch him when he gets to 2,000 in the Kaimai Stakes, Matamata Breeder Stakes.
And race 9, the Farewell Goat Man from Hawke's Bay Racing Handicap. What a name of a race that is. The Felicie N. She's been pretty good the last 2 starts, flashing home. She probably deserves a win sometime soon.
Yeah, she's in good form and coming back from a bit of a tendon injury, so team's done a good job to keep her in one piece. And Sealed with a Kiss, she struck 2 wet tracks, so I could see her bouncing back to form on a decent surface.
And of course, she won her debut race down there a month or so ago. So she could be back there, as you mentioned. And we're going to nip down the line there to Riccarton Park. I see another ones lining up down there that we haven't seen. But first off, in race 3, we've got the Rangiora Equine Services rating 65. Miss Dunford, she was good last start, running 3rd. She draws barrier 2 with Hakeem Kamarudin on board.
Yeah, really good last start from a really tough draw. So she should get a sweet trip from that draw and should be a genuine each way chance.
And race 6, the Mick and Melba Murfitt Memorial. Burgundy Rose has been down the line there already this season. She heads back down the line there, drawn barrier 3 with Hakeem Cameroon on board.
Yeah, just getting up in the weights now, Hazy. Just a little bit awkward to place, but I thought she does race well down the chute at Riccarton. So from a soft draw, even though she's still clearly top weight with a claim, should run well.
Great. And across to Te Rapa there for a cracking day of racing in the north. We kick off in race 1, the Devon Plastics 1400, rating 75 benchmark. This is quite a strong and competitive field, of which we've got 2 horses nominated. First of which is Fashion Shoot, who's been pretty unlucky the last couple of starts, flashing home there on Cracker Million Night, drawn barrier 10 with Obi Bosson on board.
Yeah, and stepping to 1400 will suit. She's been getting quite a fair way back over the 1200. As you say, Legends Day, they've got competitive fields all day, but she'll run well. And Wairau Cove gets visor blinkers on. I think he'll sharpen up and be a genuine chance as well.
Cool. Race 2, the Allied Security 1200. Maidens at a specific time. I think that's the terminology.
Yep.
Sans Doot, drawn barrier 9 there with Opie Boston on board.
Yeah, she'll run very well. She's stakes place, back left-handed. There's a horse up the top there, Master Bruno, I think its name is. That'd probably be the hardest to beat, but I'd say those 2 will fight it out.
And race 3, the Dr. John Southworth Memorial Vase, rating 75 benchmark, Millie Fiore and Pure Imagination.
Yeah, both last start winners and a touch easier fields than they meet, but we'd love to win that race. Obviously, for Gilbert and the team, and it'd be quite satisfying to win that race.
And race 4, the Group 2 David and Karen Alice Fillies Classic, sponsored by obviously David and Karen from Te Akau. The 3-year-old fillies over set weight conditions over 2,000 metres. Another horse that was bred at the stud, and you trained the Dam Corsage mark, Safura. She was good winning last start. She draws barrier 11 with Opie Bosson on board.
Yeah, she ran in the Royal Stakes as a maiden and ran 3rd, and then she won her maiden very well at Matamata. But obviously at the ratings prowess, she really just has to turn up to win on form and ratings. But funny things can happen in racing.
Absolutely. And moving down to race 6, the Group 1 Herbie Dyke Stakes, weight for age over 2,000 metres. A couple of interesting ones here. Firstly, we'll kick off there with Wild Knight, the 3-year-old up against the older horses for the first time at 2,000 metres, drawn barrier 2 with Michael McNabb on board.
Yeah, we're very happy with his work. He went to Tauranga on Sunday, worked nicely, and backed up that work on Wednesday morning. So if he happened to win, I'm tipping it'd be a pretty wild night, Hazy, don't you?
It could well be. And Campionessa, of course, she's been in great form there as well. She draws barrier 3 with Opie Bosson on board.
Yeah, she's been just one that's sort of snuck under everyone's guard. Like her run was very good when she won the Ritual Mile, and then she went to Wellington. Probably got a little bit too far back, but flashed home. So this is her biggest test today, but I think she'll measure up.
And race 7, the Norris Ward McKinnon, Your Lawyers, rating 65 benchmark. We've got 2 here, right, both up the top of the book there, led by Shepherd's Delight, drawn barrier 4, and Cote de Burn, drawn barrier 13.
Yeah, Shepherd's Delight's been interrupted a little bit by all these wet tracks. Just nothing's really gone right, but I think she finds the right race. She has Opie in the saddle. Got a bit of weight, but she should run well. And Cote de Bone, we've put visor blinkers on him. Bit of a difficult draw, but we'll try and be positive out of the gates, put him in the race and see how we get on.
And race 8, the Group 1 BCD Group Sprint, weight for age over 1,400. This is a really cracking field with some really top-line sprinters, and the country's best sprinters, no doubt. So that's led by Imperatriz, who's won her last 2 starts. She won in Cracker Million Night and then, of course, won the Railway the start before. She draws barrier 1 with Opie Bosson on board. Yeah,
she's flying, Hazy. That's the only way you can say it. I think she's in career best form, and she'll need to be. It's probably the best field New Zealand's assembled this year, but as I say, she's going as good as I've ever seen her.
And you've thrown Maven Bell there into the deep end, last season's champion 2-year-old. Is she up to it? She draws barrier 2 with Craig Zaki on board.
Yeah, last time I was training in New Zealand, we had a 3-year-old filly called Rapid K. She ran an unlucky third in it, so it's possible. And arguably, she should be unbeaten, this filly. So she deserves her chance, and we'll find out on Saturday if the older horses are too good for her or if she can measure up. I suspect she'll measure up.
Fantastic. And our final runner of the day in race 9, the TABNZ Mile. Maidens at a specific time there over the mile. We've got the Windsor Park stud mare, It's Business Time, drawn barrier 10 with Opie Boston on board.
Yeah, she had a win and then a very good second last start. So she'll roll forward from the draw. She puts herself there. No, genuine each way chance.
Great. Well, that is 3 meetings and plenty of runners. Have we got a best bet?
Imperatrice.
Imperatrice, there you go. Imperatrice to win the BCD sprint there at Te Rapa on Saturday amongst a handful of competitive fields and strong runners across all the cards there. So thanks for your time, Mark. We'll catch you again sometime in the near future, mate. And congratulations on the 1,000 wins. Hopefully you keep tracking along there as well.
Thanks, Hazy.
Well, we're back this week for another look at 2 of the recent purchases from the Cracker sale. I'm joined by Te Akau principal David Ellis for the Yearling Spotlight of the week. David, how are you getting on?
No, we've had a really busy week. It's a really exciting time of the year, Hazy, taking people around and showing them these yearlings that we've bought. One colt that has really taken my eye is Lot 231. He's by Harry Angel, who's having enormous success as a young sire in Australia. In the last week, he's been absolutely on fire, and he's out of an Exceed and Excel mare. We bought this horse off Carlaw Park, and he's bred by a breeder in Hong Kong that I've had a lot of success buying off. And this colt, I thought, was very athletic and a real 2-year-old type on pedigree and to look at him. But since he's been home on the farm, wow, has he grown and developed. Even in 2 weeks, I can't believe what a nice horse he is. He is just a stunning looking colt. And we're going to start breaking him in 4 weeks' time. And then he'll be in the stable for a couple of weeks, and then we'll teach him how to use the starting stalls, and then we'll get him ready, give him a spell, and then we'll get him ready to run in the Cracker Million this time next year.
Nice one, David. Now, I guess just quickly, you mentioned he's done really well at the farm. The grass must be growing with all this rain out there at the moment. It must be absolute heaven for some of these yearlings coming back to Te Akau at the moment.
Yeah, we're having a lot of people out here at the moment to inspect the yearlings that we bought, and people just can't believe the grass, the good quality grass that the yearlings are on. It is just amazing.
Fantastic. And just quickly touching on Harry Angel, because a few of our viewers out there probably don't know a lot about this horse being a Northern Hemisphere Darley stallion. You mentioned he's had a couple of stakes winners in the last couple of weeks in Australia, but it sounds like over the past couple of years, his stock's been absolutely flying in the Northern Hemisphere, particularly with some of those outcross stallions out of Australia. So the likes of Encosta de Lago, Star, Spangled Banner, and Exceed and Excel, who the dam of this horse is out of. Can you talk us through Harry Angel and how he's kicking off his career?
Yeah, well, everybody I spoke to in Australia, they just love them. And as you say, he's been successful in the Northern Hemisphere, and he's already kicked off in fine form with his 2-year-olds in Australia. And I think this is a real Cracker Million colt, and he's got a pedigree on both sides of the page.
Absolutely. Well, there you go. There's the Harry Angel Here We Come Bay colt. Good buying there at 125,000. So a 10% share you can pick up from 13,500 plus GST. So as David mentioned, really good buying. He's an emerging stallion, and we expect to see more winners from Harry Angel in the coming months and years. So it's definitely a good time to be getting on board with a sire, an exciting sire like that as well. So the next yearling we're going to have a look at is lot 507. This is a Zoostar Shenandoah Bay colt who has also done well while being out at the farm, David.
Yep. This colt, I happened to be in his paddock this morning. He is a really classy colt out of a Darcy Brahma mare. Now, interestingly enough, I bought Darcy Brahma as a yearling for 1.1 million, and I think from memory he won about 1.3, 1.4 on the racetrack. He was the champion 2-year-old, champion 3-year-old, and Sprinter Miler of the Year as a 4-year-old. And then we syndicated him at stud for $10 million, and he's gone on and been a very successful sire and a very good broodmare sire. So this Zoostar colt is out of a Darcy Brahma mare. It's a very, very good family. A lot of 2-year-old winners in the page. So I expect this colt to be a 2-year-old and to be another colt that will run in the Karaka Million. And he's got the scope to go on and be a 2,000 guineas colt in the spring. And then we'd probably spell him, get him ready for the Sistema in the autumn, and then spell again, and then get him ready for races like the 2,000 guineas.
Absolutely. Well, Zoostar needs no explaining himself. He's produced a number of Group 1 winners himself, and another good example of a speed sire as well. So there you have it. There's our yearlings of the week. And I guess just quickly, this yearling is slightly more expensive in the upper echelon. So $400,000 yearling, 10% share for $41,000 plus GST. But two beautiful doing colts there that have done well and been thriving since they've been out of the farm. And once again, if you want to get in touch with the team over the weekend or come out and visit any of these two horses, and I'm sure David and Karen would love to have you, we'll talk to you on the phone, pick up the phone and get in touch.
Yeah, I think this colt is a sort of colt that could stand at stud. If he was a good horse, he'd have a lot of people wanting to be involved. And he's the sort of colt that you could see being a really good stallion. And these sort of horses are worth $10, $20 million today. So we'd like to think that he was up to racing in Australia. It's only 2.5, 3 hour flight away. It takes less time than going to Wellington. And there's $1 million race in Australia every 4 days on average throughout the year. And we want to be buying these horses and training them to take over there and win these good races. It was only last year or the season before that we won 2 Group 1s in half an hour at Rosehill. And we're going to be doing that a lot more in the years ahead. And we're taking a nice team of horses to Brisbane for the carnival this year, where they have really top stake money. And that's the sort of thing that we'd like to do with this colt. We took Darcy Brahma to Brisbane as a 2-year-old, and he won a Group 1 there. And I could see this colt being in the same mould.
Great. Well, thanks for your time, David, and thanks for taking us through those 2 yearlings, 2 outstanding colts from Speed Sires. And we look forward to catching you again next week as we cross over and look at another 2 yearlings as well. So thanks for your time, and we'll catch you again next week.